happy with the way.
Good morning. I think we'll go ahead and call the Ramshorn Village Homeowners Association meeting to order. My name is Denise Bulat. I'm the president and board of the directors of the board of the directors. And we'll start to my right with Sally. Do you want to self-introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Sally Langston. I live in Louisville, Colorado, and I am a general member of the board of directors. I'm not an officer, but very happy to serve for the last 10 years or so.
I'm Dennis McClatchy from Santa Barbara, formerly from Loveland, formerly from Kansas City, and I'm the secretary.
Matt Hansen, Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm the vice president. Been on the board approximately 10 years now, and again, also happy to serve on the board.
And I forgot to mention I'm from Bettendorf, Iowa, and I've been on the board since 2010, I believe. So.
I'm Mark Meinert. I'm from Sylvania, Ohio, and I'm the treasurer, and I've been on the board for 8 years, and I'm very happy to serve and help out Ramshorn.
I'm Steve Hughes from Bella Vista, Arkansas, formerly Kansas City. I've been on just completing my first full term on the board, and I've really enjoyed it, and I've really learned how sharp the other people on the board are. So I'm glad to be here.
Thank you all. Clark Lair, another board member, is unable to be here because his grandchild is graduating from high school today. So he's back in Nebraska for that special event. He was here, though, the last 2 days for our board meeting. So we were happy to do that. So now I'm going to give, oh, wait, we need a verification of quorum. So
I'm right here.
Debbie, if you would stand.
Yes, I'll try to get up. Good morning. Pursuant to our bylaws, an official meeting requires the attendance of at least 20% of ownership weeks to meet the meeting requirements. Based on today's attendance as tabulated by your RSVPs, we fall short. Therefore, there can be no official action taken today. However, as in the past, we trust the information provided will be helpful in providing the current nature and status of your resort. And questions can be asked from those present and through the chat mechanism from those watching remotely. Minutes of this meeting will be taken and will be posted, as all minutes are, on the Ramshorn website. But again, because the meeting is unofficial, so will the minutes be considered so. With this acknowledgement, we can proceed.
You want to make the minutes also? The next agenda item is right here. Since you're secretary.
Oh. We did receive and file the minutes of the May 25th, 2024 owners meeting, and it is on the website.
Thank you. And we can't approve those, again, because we don't have a quorum. So that's why we asked Denny to do that. And you might note that he has a great voice. He's been in many various positions, and one of them, I believe, was radio. So So now we'll begin the meeting. We were all informed recently of the death of our founder, Alex Gibson. The board of directors, resort management, homeowners, and families are all dealing with this very sad news. And most importantly, the Gibson family has suffered a great loss. Deb Gibson will not be with us today. She's preparing for Alex's memorial. Please be patient with Deb and our staff through this difficult time. The staff have been providing support to Deb and to the board for this past meeting, and we appreciate everyone who's helped in the preparation for this meeting. And at this time, I would like to take a moment of silence in memory of Alex Gibson. Thank you. Again, Ramshorn Village has won its 32nd consecutive RCI Gold Crown for 2024. This is part of Alex's legacy. We are one of only 70 resorts in the world with this distinction, and this is due to, in great part, to the excellent, hardworking staff and managers at Ramshorn. As we noted in our December letter to you, This past budget year was very challenging, and so was 2023. Property taxes remained high, and we had increases in insurance and utility costs. Our property insurance costs rose from $76,584 in 2021 to $215,704 in 2024, due mostly exclusively related to the rating of wildfire risk in Colorado as a whole that blanketly just covers the state, no matter if we've experienced a fire or not. The board selected a premium of $233,587 to cover a total insurable value of $15,014,766. Deductibles per occurrence are not per building, and they are per occurrence, and wildfire coverage was not for the full insurable value. So what we're explaining is that our resort is worth $22 million, but we received no insurance offers or policies that would cover our entire resort. And my understanding is that is common practice for a timeshare. So we were able to cover $15 million of our $22 million worth. And so we want you all to be aware of that's something that we all bear as owners here. And we want to be fully transparent with you, because this was a tough decision by the entire board, and we made it unanimously. The other increased fixed costs were utilities, which increased over 9% in 2025 from our 2024 utility costs. The board met electronically following our budget meeting, which is held in November, very early November, and with updated insurance options from our broker. So our broker is an independent broker, and they gave us various options, and we talked through all of those and came up with what we thought was the best mix for our property. We were able then, after our budget meeting and through that electronic meeting, to reduce our dues from what we thought we might have to with our first budget of 9% dues increase to 8%, because we got some more favorable insurance policy suggestions. And we were able to have a break-even budget. So we were pleased that we were able to have a better and more favorable budget at the end of November that we did not have during our normal budget meeting. And that was primarily due to the new insurance options we received at the end of the November year. I'll also mention to you that we were told by our insurance broker, because we spent time with them via electronic telephone, that almost an hour, maybe more, in early November, the season isn't quite closed here in Colorado. And so the insurance companies are still considering risk. And it's later, near November, where you can get more favorable numbers. So it's very possible that this will happen again this year. I think it's very possible. I think most of the board members would agree. So I wanted you to be aware of what we went through, and that we deliberated for a long time about this, and we think we came up with the best option for our property. Also, each year, we invest in capital projects in our homes and throughout the property. These investments include cyclical refreshing in our homes, exterior staining, concrete repairs and maintenance, and outside site furniture and more. The annual expenditures for replacement furnishings, flooring, home inventory, and kitchen items are also handled. Since 2021, our association has invested over $1 million in capital expenditures. And for calendar year 2025, we needed to increase our capital expenditures by 10.5%. So that's another thing we were dealing with in the budget. And that was due to crucial projects that we couldn't put off. And that was due to roofs and exterior repairs. Our capital expenditures can't be ignored, because if they were ignored, our resort would diminish in value. And we fully expect that we would not even maintain our Gold Crown status. So we do believe it's very important to try to balance our budget do as much capital as we can, not as much as we want. We receive a wish list that's much higher from our staff of a list of needs that are very reasonable, and we cannot do all of them. And so we also talk about that a lot, and we wanted you all to be aware of that. We encourage you to contact us if you have any questions about our budget or suggestions regarding revenue options. We're constantly trying to figure out ways to reduce expenditures and increase revenues. So if you have any thoughts on that, please contact us. Finally, we have 3 board positions up for election this summer, and we encourage our owners to consider serving the association. The voting committee and staff will be notifying all owners, so you all will get notification of your opportunity for self-nomination in about the July time period. The next annual meeting, so this meeting next year, will be held on May 23rd, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. So 2026. Sorry. Thank you. With that, we will move on to the Community Association Manager's Report. And as I mentioned, Deb is not here, and Sally Langston has agreed to give her report for her.
Can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. Hi. I am honored to provide Deb Gibson's report this year. But before I go into that, I just want to let people know, for those who are considering serving on the board, this is what the time commitment looks like. There are 2 on-site meetings per year that range anywhere from a day and a half to 2 days. This time of year, it's a 2-day commitment. So you come on site, stay at the resort, and then there are phone meetings that have to happen, as Denise was alluding to, for the insurance discussion. So there are periodic phone meetings. There's a good, there's a decent bit of email communication going back and forth. You receive monthly financials and that type of information, but it's really a fairly, I would say, reasonable time commitment, and I've enjoyed it, so I really hope that others will consider running. So yes, I will be going through Deb's report, and I'm gonna read it as written, because I think it's really important for everyone to hear exactly what Deb is sharing. Dear Ramshorn Village owners and friends, this year, because of our shared loss, I am presenting my report a little bit differently. Yes, Deb's a lot shorter this year, right? and brown hair. First, I want to thank all of you who have held our family in your prayers and thoughts following Alex's sudden passing on April 21st. It has meant the world to us to receive all the cards, messages, letters, and tributes in his memory. I have felt your love and support. In 1989, Alex first conceived of the dream of creating what became Ramshorn Village Resort. And it became a reality in 1990, which was the year I graduated from Estes Park High School. So that's pretty neat. Since that time, Alex and I have welcomed over 760 families as owners. Just last year, we welcomed a newborn 4th generation owner. One of the great joys of Alex's life and mine was watching the impact of his dream on our owner families. Seeing the love, laughter, and adventure that so many of our families enjoyed together year after year, generation after generation, has been one of our greatest sources of happiness and fulfillment. We often talked about being the keeper of our family's memories and the legacies of the happiest times of all, time well spent together. Thank you for sharing your lives with us each year. We have made so many lifetime friends among you. In a way, we have all shared a love for this place. We chose each other as family at Ramshorn Village Resort. Like a family, you all have come together to support me during this terribly difficult time. Your elected members of our board have given me the grace of time to grieve and find my equilibrium. Our wonderful team at Ramshorn Village made this time possible by continuing to care for our owners, guests, and homes while I have not been physically there this last month. I have continued to work remotely as we have done every winter in the Caribbean. Our family has been working on our celebration of Alex over the last few weeks. It will be held June 1st in Estes Park. Information on the time and location can be found at a celebration of Alex, and that is a link from the electronic. If you're not able to access that, let us know, call the front desk. We'll make sure you get the information. It's going to be at a beautiful outdoor pavilion near the Fall River entrance to the park. Please feel free to leave a message, photo, and memory at that link. If you aren't there in person, please join us in spirit at the appointed time. It's at 1 p.m. next Sunday, June the 1st. Many of you will be going home because our owners live all over the country, which makes us a very diverse property. So if you want to raise a glass at 1 p.m. and think kind thoughts of Alex, we would love to have you there in spirit as well. After we honor Alex's memory, it is my intention to begin returning physically to Ramshorn Village. I look forward to seeing all of you as you return to our very special place. One of the greatest gifts Alex left me is what must be the biggest family any one person could possibly have. It is my intention to continue to work in furtherance of Alex's legacy to us all. With your support and that of our board and staff, I hope to build on what he began and loved so very much. Just going to take a moment and get to the business side of the report. But we have this wonderful picture of Alex that will be at his celebration of life on June the 1st. Okay, and thanks for being patient with me because we have a long report, but that's okay. Okay. Ramshorn Village Resort is celebrating its 32nd anniversary of offering great family vacations at the entrance to Rocky Mountain National Park. We are now in our 22nd year of owner-controlled association management. A focus on shared goals between our owners, board of directors, and on-site management and staff is a critical part of our success. Our original 2003 mission statement is the basis for every decision that I make as your community association manager. It frames our discussions and planning in addressing the association's annual and long-term goals, serving the current and long-term interests of owner families, and the association has created a very successful management strategy over time. And I'm sure some of you have seen, but the mission statement, we have that laminated and kind of standing up in the homes. So if you ever, wonder why are we doing what we are doing and what purpose we are marching towards, that is there to remind you. But this year I'm going to read it for you and as a reminder of what we're trying to accomplish. So our mission statement: to provide the finest vacation experience to all Ramshorn Village homeowners, RCI guests, and rental guests. To maintain the resort at the highest quality and preserve the legacy for generations of Ramshorn families to enjoy. To provide the service and vacation experience necessary to promote sales and rentals for the continued financial health of the resort and value of homeowner property. I'm gonna let that sink in for a moment. So Deb continues, I am delighted to report that our online reviews have never been better. Our staff is well-trained and stable, and unlike most shared ownership communities, our owners oversee our shared destiny. Our homes and resort are well-maintained. Our annual meeting is now being held in person as well as virtually on Zoom. Thank you for attending, Zoom guests. For those who cannot attend in person, increasing access to all owners. Yes, we want owners to be involved. We want owners engaged. So having multiple options for attendance is helpful to us all. Owners also have the option to watch the meeting video at a later and more convenient time. Instructions on this will be sent after the meeting. Each year, the board approves significant budgets for replacement of home inventories, including TVs, mattresses, linens, kitchen and dishware, furnishings, carpeting, planking, and contents on a continued based program. Other capital reserve projects include staining, painting, and refresh in the homes, roadways, playground, outdoor facilities, and common areas. All are scheduled based on regular planned reserve projects combined with an annual assessment of condition. Regular scheduled maintenance is critical to preserving our resort and making it a comfortable home for our owners and other guests to return year after year. I don't know about you, but I know how I have aged from 1990 to 2025, and this resort has not. I think this resort looks amazing for being built in 1990. I think we have a lovely updated property. I visit, travel a lot of different resorts, and I'm always pleased with how Ramshorn is being managed, being taken care of in comparison. So we've got a very special place here. Okay, I will continue. Starting in 2023, we began activating more features of Owner Connect, and owners were able to make annual association payments online. If you don't remember Owner Connect, it's a service via our website. You can make payments and you can reserve some select more off-season weeks where there's a little less demand. In 2024, we began opening those lesser demand weeks for advanced online booking by owners. These weeks currently include Red Weeks 21 through 23, 33 through 38, and 51, 52, and 53 in leap years. And White Weeks 1 through 18, 44 through 46, and 48 through 50. This reservation feature is limited by current owner-approved reservation policies and procedures already in place. So even though you can reserve the weeks online, we are still consistently following the policies that we have, and they're all posted online. So I just want people to be aware of that the online follows the policies. It's not, there's no preference, it follows along. Okay, let's talk about the importance of rental activity. One of our important goals is to promote rentals for the continued financial health of the resort and the value of all homeowner property. Some high season rates in 2024 reached a high of over $650 per night, which equates to $4,500 weekly, including a sales tax of 14.2%. Some renters will spend upwards of $5,200 in 2024, or did spend, to stay at Ramshorn for a week. Comparatively, the cost of an owner week is $977 annual dues, and owners don't pay sales tax. So we are getting a great value and a lovely property compared to folks who are renting on the rental market. With ever-increasing rental activity, more owners are opting to rent their red season weeks over RCI exchanges if they choose not to use their weeks at Ramshorn. As owners deposit less into RCI, the trade value of our weeks banked generally increases. That's because we have such high owner usage of the weeks, which is another thing I think makes Ramshorn very special. People want to be here. as owners. Deposit less to our, yeah, okay, there we go. Higher rental prices and occupancy provide income to our owners, reduce resale and support ownership sales. Rental also helps to offset expenses for association-owned weeks. All right, let's talk about our staff. It's one of my favorite parts of the report. Through every disaster since we came under owner control in 2003, our association board has made sure our staff remained fully paid through closures. The value of that loyalty to our staff is paid off in many ways, but certainly in helping to reduce staff turnover, which improves service and reduces recruiting and training costs. This is more important than ever in our extraordinarily challenging job market. With affordable housing and lack of childcare at a critical point in Estes Park, this is more critical than ever. In November 2022, voters in Estes Park overwhelmingly voted to pass a ballot initiative, 6E, which will support more affordable housing and childcare options for workers in Estes Park. As the chair of Visit Estes Park, which is our tourism board, I was very pleased to help this ballot issue get to the voters of Estes Park. Funding started reaching appointed housing and childcare authorities in 2023. Several $1 million have already benefited the community's workforce. Competitive pay, year-round employment, benefit programs, and a respectful and positive work environment all minimize turnover, which can be expensive for operations and reduce overall competency and quality of service. The labor market is more competitive and challenging than ever in Estes Park. Our staff turnover continues to be a small percentage of what is normal in this industry. Many of our staff members are cross-trained in multiple departments, so they are ready to support other departments when needed. It is crucial to keep our great staff together. Our board and on-site management recognize this, and many owners have commented on this. The condition of the property, the great guest experience you receive at the front desk, the cleanliness of the homes, our reservations policies, getting folks reserved, that is all thanks to our great staff. Some of our staff are more front-facing or guest-facing than others, but it takes all of our great staff to make this resort what it is. A large part of our strategy and our resiliency has focused on building a stable and year-round staff that is responsible to the association and responsive to owners and guests. Resort management on-site is oriented to serve the interests of the association and owners. Our results would not be possible without the dedication of our talented group of long-term department leaders who work so well together. So I'm going to introduce Erin Dalby, our assistant resort manager, who's been with Ramshorn for 22 years, and she will introduce our department heads who are here with us today for the meeting.
I just do it here.
Yeah.
Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay, so I'm Erin Dalby. I've been here for 22 years. I've been your assistant general manager since 2006. I've been your assistant general manager since 2006, so we thought it would be appropriate for me to introduce our team. I also wanted to reiterate that Deb has been working remotely, and she was here at the board meeting both Thursday and Friday. We had a very productive meeting, and we're all doing just fine, so thank you. I would first like to introduce Tina Brown, our guest services manager. You want to come up here? You want to come up here? She's been here for 22 years. Dan Hannaford, our engineering manager, 27 years. Tiffany Hannaford, our owner services coordinator, 22 years. And Gus Livario, our front office revenue manager. He's been here about 5 years, and he comes to us with 18 years of hotel experience. Thank you very much.
Okay, I have a bit more content. These team members have all worked together to implement annual budgets and goals approved by our board of directors. All are dedicated to making Ramshorn Village Resort the very best it can possibly be each and every day. They take great pride in their results, as do I. A long-term, well-trained and seasoned staff working together as a team is the critical component to providing an excellent vacation experience and building value for all owners. Over and over again, we hear from owners and other guests that it is our staff that makes the difference. I couldn't agree more. Let's talk about our consistent, outstanding reviews. Ramshorn Village Resort customer scores are among the very best in the timeshare and hotel industry. Over the past 21 years, our managers and staff members have produced consistent and extraordinarily high RCI scores. We were awarded our 32nd consecutive RCI Gold Crown Award for 2024. Our RCI scores place us in the top 1% of all RCI resorts worldwide. We were awarded with the TripAdvisor Traveler's Choice and Excellence in Service Awards for the 11th straight year in 2024. We enjoy continued exceptionally high ratings on several other customer review sites like Facebook, Google, TripAdvisor, Booking.com, and many other internet platforms. Online reviews drive potential renters and owners to our rental and sales websites and ultimately to the resort. These very positive reviews establish our excellent reputation online in comparison to other resorts in our industry, worldwide and in our local market. This adds value to all Ramshorn Village Resorts owners' equity. All right, let's talk about owner resale values briefly. The value of the weeks owned by Ramshorn Village Owners Association and owners is largely determined by the quality of service and condition of our homes, amenities, and grounds. We need to continue to make purchasing at Ramshorn Village as attractive as possible to prospective owners from a variety of age groups. Ramshorn Village needs to continue to be vibrant and welcoming to new owners, as well as second and third generations that will inherit from our current owner base. Over 90% of all ownerships have been retained by the original purchasing families. That's impressive. We're going to talk about reserves and then wrap up the report. You've heard a little bit about this, but through 2024, Ramshorn Village Owners Association, your association, invested nearly $4.6 million in reserve improvements to the homes and resort since 2006. The Home Stretch Improvement Program has provided over $416,000 in funding for additional luxury improvements at Ramshorn since 2005. This program was designed to add to the quality and comfort of the homes and amenities to the resort to increase sales and rental activity, add to owner satisfaction, and reduce resale activity. Most of the improvements originally planned when the program began in 2005 are complete, with many additional improvements made. With the combined improvements of over $5 million, Ramshorn Village Resort is better maintained than at any time in its history, and it only keeps on getting better. Current real estate values in Estes Park would indicate that the resort has an estimated $28 to $32 million value. So somewhere in the $20 million range, based on what Denise said as well. Special thanks. It has been a privilege to work with the multi-talented members of the board of directors, our committees, owners, and the staff of Ramshorn Village Resort in building a successful present and future for all involved at Ramshorn. I am hopeful and excited about the opportunities ahead of us in the coming year. We're already off to a very strong start. Written by Deborah Gibson, our Community Association Manager. Thank you.
And now Mark Meinert, our treasurer, will provide the treasurer's report.
Good morning. I get to do the fun stuff here when it comes to the money. One thing I want to make a comment about that home stretch, that $416,000. That is money that Deb and Alex have donated to Ramshorn through commissions that they've earned and other funds. So the board met this last week, and we met with our auditors who do our annual financial report. And I'll just kind of briefly go over some of this stuff. One of the things that the auditors have to do is called required communications, where they specifically address the people who are in charge of governance, which that is us on the board of directors. Some of the things they have to talk about is the qualitative aspects of accounting practices, where management is responsible for the selection and use of appropriate accounting policies. We had no new accounting policies that were adopted, and the application of existing policies was not changed. And they noted no transactions that were entered into by the association during the year for which there is a lack of authoritative guidance or consensus. There are no significant transactions that have been recognized in the financial statements in a different period than when the transactions occurred. Another thing they have to talk about is any difficulties that they encountered during the audit, and there were no difficulties encountered during this audit. Corrected and uncorrected misstatements. The professional standards require the auditors to accumulate any known and likely misstatements in our financial statements. And each year, the only really adjustment they do is they make an adjustment to the book value of the association-owned weeks. So that's the only thing that's actually listed under here, other than some minor things, which is immaterial, things like prepaid expenses and such. And they have to disclose if they had any disagreements with management and report that no such disagreements arose during the course of the audit. So then I'll go into the actual audit itself. And they issued their opinion on our financial statements, which management is responsible for. And it said, in our opinion, the statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects financial position of the association as of December 31st, 2024 and 2023, and the results of its operations and its cash flows for the years then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States. So this is an unmodified opinion, or also known as a clean opinion. This is what we want. So thank you, Aaron, for all your attention to the detail and the accuracy of the financial statements. Briefly go over the statements of income. So in 2024, we had total revenue of $2.7 million. Our expenses were $2.7 million, which gave us excess revenue over excess of revenue over expenses of just about $69,000. So it's showing that we've kind of had a profit of $69,000, which we typically try to budget for zero. But I will explain that profit a little bit. $37,000 of that is really unrealized gain. That's an adjustment to the value of our HOA-owned weeks. So it's really not, it's not a cash gain, it's just a book gain, kind of like on your stocks. If you own stocks, you have unrealized gains or losses. And we also had an expenditure of $35,000 for new washer dryers. And that typically runs through the expense accounts, but the auditors capitalized that this year. So if you back all that stuff out, we really only had a surplus of $3,475. So that's closer to what we try to budget. We don't try to budget to make a profit because we're all owners. We're not here to make a profit on our stock ownership, and we want to try to keep our dues down as much as we can, but yet we still have to spend the money to get things done, to keep the property in the condition that it is. Then we ended the year with total assets of $3.466 million. We're up $159,000 over last year in assets. Our total liabilities were $2.465 million. Our liabilities increased about $90,000, but that is basically due to the advanced deposits from prepaid rents for future years. And we ended up with a total fund balance, which is our net worth, of $1,001,000, and that was up to $69,000, which was the profit from last year. So does anybody have any questions on the audit? If not, I'll go to the treasurer's report, and that's basically just a report on what our cash and investments are as of April 30th. We had, in resort operating funds, we had $36,000 assets that are held for future use, which consist of rental deposits and future years prepaid dues. That was $1.124 million. And we have reserve funds of $308,000. So we have total fund balance of $1,468,098 as of September, as of April 30th. And that's my treasurer's report. Do you have any questions? If not,
We can call Mark out.
yeah, we'll have Mark Allison. He's chairman of the investment committee. He's going to give his report. And his report is in your handout.
Good morning, I'm Mark Allison, and I'm chairman of your investment committee. Your funds are currently being managed by Midwest Trust Company, which has its principal offices in Overland Park, Kansas, a suburb of Kansas City. And they also have offices from Washington State to Florida, including offices in Denver and Boulder. Currently, as of April 30th, the total value of your assets are $1,272,000. The assets are composed 95% of fixed income investments and 5% in money market. Specifically, we hold a treasury bill, some corporate bonds, and also some short to intermediate bond funds. Year to date, the return on the account, the actual return, not annualized, was 1.93%, and for the last 12 months, it has been 6.56%. The money market component of the account is currently paying 4.2%, and the overall current yield of the account is 5.2%. And we started doing these investments a number of years ago when interest rates were essentially zero. You didn't get paid anything for having money deposited in a bank. So we tried to find some alternatives that were relatively risk-free that would pay us some more interest. And indeed, over the time frame going back to 2016, we have received $369,000 of interest, which hopefully helps subsidize some of the activities of the association. And with that, I think I'm finished.
Thank you, Mark. Just have a couple more items before we go to questions. There is no voting committee report, but as I noted in the president's remarks, there are 3 board positions open this year. And the status of the Home of Ramshorn Village Owners Association owned weeks is that we own right now a total of 367 weeks. 99 of those are red, 142 of those are white, and 126 of those are blue. And with that, we're done with our formal remarks, and we would be happy to take questions, and we'll all field them together. There may be some questions that are best handled by Deb, and we'll do our best to get those back to you at a future time. Yes?
So I do have a question about the insurance. We're insured for $15 million, and yet we have ownership of 22. So we live in this area, and the fires have been close a number of times. So if this area got burnt, would the owners be responsible for making up the $7 million difference?
What would happen if our property was totally wiped out? What we discussed was that the insurance value that we all received we would collectively, as a homeowners association, have to decide, do we rebuild? Or do we take the receipt of that 15 million and split it between all the weeks we own? So it would be an owner's decision, a group of owners voting to decide, do we try to rebuild with that lesser amount that we can't, no one offered us 100% of what we need to rebuild, or would we decide to take that insurance value, and remember, it's the structures, not the land, and maybe we could make up the difference with the value of the land and sell the parcels too. But we'd all be in this together, and we would all make that decision together. I don't know if any of the other board members have a different answer than that.
That's what would happen.
That, we discussed that thoroughly because we really wanted to understand our insurance position this year. And I think we all came out with a much better understanding, especially in a state that apparently has a lot of high risk. There's hail, there's fire, and so it really was a helpful discussion that we had with our broker this year.
What's
I
the,
don't think it would hurt to reinforce that even if we wanted to, we can't, nobody will insure us for 100%.
Right.
what's the value of the buildings aside from the property, from the land?
That's the 22 million.
22 million is the buildings?
The 22 million is what we would lose in a fire. We don't lose the land in a fire.
Right.
So it's all the structures and other property amenities. If all of that was gone,
So what's the value of the total property, the land and the buildings?
I think that's what Deb was coming up with in her report, in
Right.
28 to 32 million.
Right. So that's the difference between what I reported on what our insured full value would be.
So
It-
6 to 8.
It's in here
Yeah.
at 28 to 32. Who knows what the total value is? You never know until you sell it. So that's our best guess as to the land and the buildings might be 28 to 32 million. We don't know. But as Denise said, we've got estimated value of the buildings and the amenities and what's here, which you're seeing, the physical part of it, about 22. But nobody will insure us for that. The best we get is about 15 million. And we looked at various prices. I mean, the price we took here wasn't the extravagant one, I can tell you. There was other ones that would come in with a much higher premium rate if we wanted to go more. Collectively as a board, we decided that this was their best alternative. And under here, as you may see, the deductibles under here, almost mind-blowing when we saw them as to the $250,000 for hail damage. It's not just particularly a building, it's per occurrence under here. So we had an extensive amount of time and talking with the insurance to come up with that, but hopefully that maybe explained a little bit. But valuations, you know, as you live here, your house goes like this at times, it probably is the same scenario here.
The reason I asked is on one of the news feeds recently, I read that homeowners were responsible, like, I think this came maybe from California fires, and the homeowners were responsible for rebuilding the resorts that they had ownership in,
Well,
and paying the difference.
but that decision won't be made in a vacuum.
That would be made by everyone as a
That has to be an
group.
owner vote.
And we could all say, you know what, this is our vacation home. It is a home that we love, but we also have the homes where we live. And do we want to just take what we receive from insurance and what we receive from the value of selling the land and, you know, cut our differences? That will be a decision we make collectively. Gerald?
So I actually live here, and I belong to 6 HOAs, God bless America. And I'm president of 3, little brain damage there. And one of our associations this year, they decided to go at some point in time with American Family who pulled out of the state. The only available insurance to us was through Berkshire Hathaway. And our insurance value on our buildings under that policy was depreciated value. Well, they were built in 1968. What do you think they're worth today? under the depreciated value. So I think the board's done an excellent job. You got great policy, and thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you, Gerald.
And to emphasize what he is saying, you may or may not have heard, a lot of insurance companies now, even on your homes, it comes to your roof, you don't get replacement value now. After 10 years, you may get 0 because they look at depreciated value of the roof, not what it is to replace it. So you may want to look at that on a personal basis as well, as that the insurance companies don't want to replace roofs really much anymore. So they're looking at a replacement value, a depreciated value, not a replacement, which is what we discussed in the insurance situation as well.
Are there any other questions?
There's a couple of comments,
Okay.
questions.
Okay.
So I can read them all. First one's a comment from Jerry Arwansky. Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to say what an awesome job that Deb, Alex, and the entire Ramsworm staff has done over the years. And the next one is a comment from David Moore in regards to fire. Also, it's unlikely an entire loss would occur by fire since we have separate structures. And then the next one is a question from Linda. What is a blue week? We know red and white weeks.
Yeah, but what that really is a white, it's a white week now. But when we first opened our resort, there were blue weeks, and they were even, if you think of a white week, the blue weeks were even in, let's say, the months that are least used here by renters and us, which would potentially be January and February, for instance. And those months are actually the months where Dan and our staff are very, very busy doing our refreshes. So when we aren't renting, we have that open unit available that we can improve. We can paint and we can add new carpet. So those months actually are helpful to us to maintaining our resort.
Next one's a question, it's a maintenance question from Jerry Iwanski. I know that maintenance staff are always busy, especially this time of year. At some point in time, is it possible to top or trim some portion of the top of the choke cherry bushes in front of 31 and 32?
That, we have brought that up. My husband and I also own in 32, and that's a possibility. One of the things is, though, that that staff have explained to us, and Deb has explained to us, is that that provides a buffer, if you will, a visual buffer from the campground. So there are some folks who like the buffer there, all the choke cherries, even as tall as they are right now, and some folks who would like them a little bit capped off so that we can see Long's Peak and the mountains. So maybe that's something we certainly can bring up, and I can tell you that conversation has come up before.
There's one more question here from Robert Donathan. Does the full $15 million of coverage apply to wildfires, and how much is the deductible?
The full $15 million applies to any full, complete damage that were to occur. So it's not just wildfires.
Right, it could be flood.
It could be, yes.
Any kind of a natural
Right.
disaster.
Right.
Crash,
Right. What did you say, Gerald?
airplane crash.
Oh. Yeah, that's possible. They go over our resort all the time. Matt wanted to add something.
One other thing we looked at when we looked at the insurance is what our probability of maybe having a wildfire here is. We're probably better off than a lot of the resorts, because if you looked immediately to the south, we probably have some type of a barrier. We have a highway, not many structures to the south. If you look to the east, we have a highway plus a fairly large area that has no buildings on it whatsoever for an area. To the west, yes, we have the RV space, but again, a lot of area without any structures or many trees or anything else. Obviously, we all know a fire ember can come from anywhere and start something here, but we felt we were fairly protected because of where we are located, as opposed if we were another resort half a mile away in the midst of the forest or the woods. So those are things we looked at as to looking at probability of what might occur if there was a flood, who knows how that would come under here. So it's, again, things we considered. It was a rather lengthy period of time dealing with insurance, I will just let you know.
And historically, I'll just make one more comment and then take yours. Historically, the insurance companies would actually come on property, inspect, and make a decision based on your property. They don't do that anymore. It's blanket. So the fact that we sprinkle all during the dry season, we have sprinklers that go every single night, that used to be taken into account. It is, and everything that Matt just mentioned used to be taken into account. Now none of that is taken into account. Sir, Jeff.
Just have a question about reaching a quorum. Is that something that you guys ever reach in these meetings, or?
Never in an annual meeting. So what would happen, and that's why we're so glad that we have our electronic abilities now. When we vote this summer, when we all vote on the 3 open positions, it will be by online. It will be online voting. And that way we can get more owners. And in fact, I'm very, very pleased to say that the past several elections, I think we've had over 60% of our owners actually vote. It's middle of summer, they might be on vacation, who knows what they're doing. And they are voting on who they want to be their board. I think that's great. And what we're talking about is if we had to make a really hard decision for all of us, if something bad like this were to happen, then it would be online. It wouldn't be in person. We would have to reach out to all of you, probably multiple times, because we would want to know what the majority of our owners really want to do in a situation like that.
But even prior to doing online voting, we had a lot of proxies. So prior to doing online voting, you might have more people at the in-person meeting, but still not enough for a quorum. People would give a proxy. So once you voted the proxies, you'd have the quorum. So we kind of changed from a proxy system to a direct online voting, I would say.
And the proxies were typically given to Deb and Alex. So that's how they could be given to me. If I were physically here at the meeting, we could have 5 or 6 friends say, hey, Denise and Carl, you vote for us. But majority of them were given to Deb and Alex. Now, frankly, really, it is our owners making the decision. And I think that that's the best way. And it's the best way moving forward on any decisions we need to make. Yes?
I just wanted to mention, I'm an HOA president up here too. Okay, but next Tuesday evening at 5:30, Larimer County is going to be holding a home insurance, wildfire, and resiliency meeting.
Oh, interesting.
5:30 to 7 down in the Larimer County Emergency Operations Center down in Johnstown.
Okay.
You have to drive down the hill for that, but it's real close to Loveland. So, it's reasonably handy.
We don't know what's going to come out of that.
Right, but it will be good information. So Craig is mentioning that there's a meeting next Thursday from 5 to 7 in Johnston. 5:30 to 7. Tuesday, so that would be May 27th. May 27th, here in Larimer County in Johnston. Yes. And they will be discussing insurance and fire risk. So that might be a good opportunity for any of you who are still here and or live in this vicinity to go and hear what else you're hearing about insurance and those issues. Thank you.
If you get something good, will you pass it on?
Yes, please do.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, let us know. Because we know we're going to be going through this again in November.
Sure.
I'll take a look to see if it's streamed.
Yeah, that'd be good too.
Insurance is our biggest issue too.
Yeah. Yes, Jeff.
As I understand it, if you're doing brush remediation on the property, it can reduce those rates.
Yes, and we do try to do that. Yes, Gerald.
And Logan from the fire department here will actually go through and do a
inspection. Oh, cool.
for free.
Oh, good. That's a great idea. Gerald just mentioned that we can request the fire department in Estes Park to do an inspection of our property and give us other suggestions, which is a great idea. Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Sean, are there any online?
No.
Anyone else in the room? Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate your patience. It's a tough time for all of us. And it's not lost that it's also Memorial Day weekend, and we need to remember those who have fallen, who have served our country, both first responders and the men and women in our armed forces. So please remember them. And Alex, as you move through our next few days. Thank you very much.
Thank you.